Good evening, Innovative Jazz Coach here. I'm here to talk about something that was very interesting and kind of caught my attention. Now, I've shared so many ideas in regards to what it is that you can do to be able to gain energy. A couple of things that I do: I intermittently fast, I sun gaze, I listen to binaural music at 432 hertz at night when I go to sleep. I tend to eat foods that tend to allow my system to rest and utilize what it is needs to in order to be able to, get rid of what it needs to get rid of and take a break, and also be able to help keep my immune system intact because I know that my immune system comes from having a healthy gut. And so it's strange that as I do these and I do these videos, that there are things that tend to come to me, and I'm trying to figure out, understand why are these things coming to me. I'm seeing, of course, the strange numbers. I'm seeing patterns, the things that I realize all the time. That if I really discussed everything that comes to me, I would really seem like I'm crazy because it's just amazing how these things come to me. We're supposed to be helpers of one another. That's one of the reasons why I have no problem sharing. So I've shared my fasting. I've shared binaural music. I've shared the sun gazing, staring into the sun. There's also another one with moon gazing. I've done that, and I've never really seen the impacts of that. I also shared the shungite and what it is that it does, and how it absorbs negative energy. So if you get negative energy absorbed, what do you think you have left? Positive energy. And so with this energy, what is it that you're going to do with this energy? Again, you'll be able to benefit from it because as we get older, we tend to be a little sluggish and not really do the things that we want to do. But there's things that we can do to be able to, make this energy useful by showing it or giving it to people who actually matter. To me, you matter. That's why I don't mind giving it to people. And Josh, because how do you mean to do that? You'll feel? I'll tell you how. We are living in places where we wear shoes and we insulate our bodies from the ground. Yet the earth produces an energy and has a frequency that our bodies can be useful, that as our bare feet touch the ground, it can help us be able to heal in certain areas of our body. There's a gentleman who's going to talk about how his grounding, or his ability to understand that placing his feet directly against the ground allow his body to lose inflammation. His inflammation, or the swelling of his joints, go down. It's going to show the pictures of it in your neck, in your elbow, in your back. And so this is a new concept. So I'm thinking this planet has made so much provision for us to be able to live the life that we are now systematically have been strayed away from, because they don't want us to have what it is that we need, because the dependency on the medical industry as well as these pharmacies want to make so much money. So by having shoes on and having that rubber, which is an insulator, be insulated from the ground, you're not getting the power from the earth to be able to help your body heal from certain ailments like inflammation. So here we have healing powers that can come through your feet from the ground of the earth that can have, they suggest that you do it at least 2 hours a day. Now, I know a lot of people don't have 2 hours, but sometimes you have to work or before work, whatever the case may be, and if you have, that you live in your house, what have you, people say, that person is strange, they have their shoes off, why would they do so? Well, you can explain to them what you're doing. If they want to hear you, can. But if they want to think you weird, guess what problem that is? There. And so you are then grounding yourself so that your body can use that energy and that frequency from the earth to pull away those things that are causing you to have inflammation. There are other elements that can help as well, but we need to be doing that. Now, let's just say you're outside, you're grounding, so you got the ground pulling these things away from your body, and now the sun is out. So now you can sun gaze and have that sun going into your eyes, giving you the melatonin, which helps you sleep, and the serotonin, which is a feel-good hormone that they want to secrete, especially if those who are suffering from depression or down or ill, whatever the case may be. That hormone helps deal with that, especially with everything that you have to deal with. So you're sun gazing, so you get melatonin, that you sleep, you get serotonin, that you get the feel good, and then you're grounding, so now your body has ridden itself of ailments that's causing inflammation. And so I'm sharing this to let you know that there's so many things that we can do. We can meditate, and then meditation, it can help us control our thoughts. All these things that can help us be the best person that we can be and live the best life that we can be and be motivated to do whatever it is that we want to do. We want to get physically fit, you can be motivated to be physically fit. If you want to be motivated to be able to be more efficient at the job you do, you could do that as well. You want to get motivated to make more money, of course you can do that as well. Whatever it is that you desire, you can have it manifest in your life. All that you need to do is just position yourself and do these things that I'm telling you to help you get energy. So I'm saying all this to say I'm doing this introduction on what this video is, and so I want you to get this information and consider it. If you decide you want to do grounding and you think grounding is for you, then by all means do so. If you think it's crazy and these folks are talking crazy and you don't want to hear it, fine, it's your choice. So without further ado, I am introducing to you this video that's talk about grounding. Here's the video, take a watch and
They said, you expect us to believe that somebody's going to put a nail in the ground, tie a wire around somebody's toe, and it's going to make them sleep better? They said, get out of here. Go away. You're nuts. So I ended up having to put together my own study, and we grounded 60 people, and the reports that came in were unbelievable. TMJ disappeared, PMS disappeared, inflammation reduced, pain. Everybody slept better. Found an anesthesiologist in San Diego, and he says, I don't think there's anything to what you're doing. There's got to be an anomaly here, but I'll entertain you. He says, I will prove that you're wrong. Now, we did the study. It's the first study that I did that was a legitimate study where we had quantifiable data. Then we decided, well, we're going to do a big study now, and we ended up attracting scientists, physicists. When they saw the study, everybody said, well, this is really pretty interesting.
I learned about grounding maybe 12, 13 years ago through one of the trainers for the Tour de France team from the US, and he was using it with many of their athletes and with surprising results. And I think the surprising best summarizes my response to it because it didn't seem to make sense. I think I became a believer once I started to explore the science.
If you take a microscope and you look at a piece of wood and you go down, 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 all of a sudden, there's nothing there. There's molecules, but they're not even connected. What's holding them together? What's the force that's holding everything together? Our body is electrical. This is all electronic equipment. The heart, the lungs, the brain. I mean, this is electrical equipment. It's all electrical. Everything is electrical.
Unbeknownst to us, we live inside a battery. The surface of the Earth is charged negatively, and the ionosphere, which is a layer of the atmosphere about 60 miles up, which is ionized by the sun, meaning that the rays of the sun are so strong that they split the molecules into a positive charge and a negative charge. The negative charge are transferred to the surface of the Earth through lightning mainly, and the positive charge stay 60 miles up. The problem arises when we don't have negative charge. So we need grounding just as we need air and we need sunshine.
Stephen Sinatra, who was a cardiologist from back east, was attending a convention. We sat down with Stephen and told him the story of what I was doing. Now he said, well, if you're affecting pain, he says, you need to be researching inflammation. You don't have arthritis, you don't have cancer, you don't have all these health disorders. What you have is chronic inflammation.
We have so much inflammation in the body, and it comes out in illnesses. We go to a doctor with all these complaints, but a lot of it is silent inflammation, including my specialty, heart disease. Heart disease is an inflammatory process. So how do we reduce inflammation?
Inflammation is produced by neutrophils, which is a white blood cell. You have an injury, you have a damaged cell. And so these white blood cells come over and they encapsulate the damaged cell and they release reactive oxygen species, which rip electrons from the damaged cell and that destroys the damaged cell. If there's not enough free electrons there to reduce the remaining radicals, they're going to steal an electron from a healthy cell and in the process damage it. Then the message goes out to the immune system and another neutrophil does the same thing, eliminates that cell, and then you end up with a chain reaction.
ATP is short for adenosine triphosphate. It's the energy currency of the cell. So we're bioelectrical beings. That's the currency of our body. That's how it works. That's how we run our biological systems, is by generating this electrical energy that's transferred. And when we connect to the earth through a conductive surface in some way, there's a transfer of electrons that slowly go into our body. In situations where we are insulating ourselves from this surplus of electrons into our body, we're going to get the absolute opposite. So instead of having low levels of inflammation and a thin blood, we'll have thick blood that's more likely to clot, and our levels of inflammation tend to increase.
You could take anybody who has chronic pain. It doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter what's wrong. And ground them, and you're going to have a significant reduction in pain. You're going to stop the oxidation or the inflamed portion. That stops almost immediately. Then the body can heal and return to normal. And healing generally is improved by 60, 70%. If inflammation is the cause of all these health disorders, then I know that not grounding is the cause of inflammation, because if the body is grounded, you can't have inflammation.
Can we measure the effects reproducibly? The answer to that is yes. We now have 20 studies.
There's 21 published studies in the medical literature on earthing and grounding. And this is peer review stuff. In simple terms, what earthing does is literally, it quenches the fires of inflammation. And if inflammation is the source of all root illnesses, including Alzheimer's disease, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, I mean, the list goes on and on. If you can impact inflammation and, squelch it, kill it, stop it, we're going to be healthier beings. So, why hasn't it caught on in mainstream? I can only say it will.
There's a well-established, traditional, conventional system that relies on expensive intervention. So they'd like to perpetuate that, and they're not too interested in having some competition coming in for a lot less expensive to sort of sabotage their profit levels. Because their goal isn't to help humanity. Their goal is really, as corporations, is increase their profit. The question becomes, how much of an influence has lack of grounding been in the epidemic of disease that we have? Is this grounding a factor?
The light switch went on, and I thought, we're doing things completely backwards here. A typical day for a child is completely ungrounded. Most children wake up sleeping on a bed that was not grounded in a house or a building or on a floor that was insulated from the earth. And then they go immediately into a classroom that's insulated. And even on recess, in the recess period, they go outside and are literally fenced in and are paved with asphalt. And then they have after-school activities, which are either indoors, or if they're outdoors, they are literally required to wear protective gear. Then even if they're exercising for 2 hours after school, 100% disconnected from the earth. And then they go home and they go inside and they eat dinner and they do homework all hours of the night, and then they pass out in an ungrounded bed. So that's a 24-hour period of time completely ungrounded, and that goes on day after day after day.
There's a resistance to integrating novel thoughts. And many times new ideas aren't implemented until the people who hold the counter opinion die.
The good thing about grounding is that you don't need a doctor to tell you to do it. You do not need a physician to recommend it to you. You can try this anytime. It is your birthright because you live on the earth.
I ground every day. Hey, I want to be connected to the earth as much as I can.
I would say about 95% of the day I am grounded because I believe it's just a no-brainer.
Go outdoors, take your shoes off, stand barefoot on the earth, or sit on the earth, put your feet and your hands on the earth, and you will instantly notice the pain and inflammation begin to drain from your body. I got my life back is probably the most common refrain that I hear. Thank you, I got my life back.